Zeus, Kronos, Pandora's box, or King Midas are names that sound familiar to us, but do you know its origin? Do you know how they were created? How the Greek world and its mythology arose? In this video, we will solve all those doubts. At first, there was only chaos, the god of the windy nothingness, Nyx, the goddess of the night, Erebus, the god of endless darkness, and Tartarus, the god of the darkest place in the underworld and the abyss. Nyx, the goddess of the night, in the form of a giant black bird laid a golden egg, and in the form of the bird, she sat on it for a great deal of time. Finally, life began inside the egg, and when it burst, Eros, the god of love, sprouted. Half of the eggshell rose up and became the sky, and the other fell down and became the earth. Eros and Chaos then mated, and from that union arose the birds, the first living beings that predate even the gods. After that, Eros gathered all the necessary ingredients to create the immortals, starting with Uranus and Gaia, and all the other gods. Then eventually the gods created humans and the world was fully created. Uranus, the sky god, and Gaia, the earth goddess, became the first gods to rule the world. Together they gave birth to the first Titans, and are grandparents or great-grandparents to most of the gods. Every night, Uranus covered Gaia and slept with her. Gaia gave him children, the 12 Titans, the Hecatoncheires, beings with 100 arms, and the Cyclopes. However, Urano hated his children and did not want to see them, so he imprisoned them in the depths of Gaia, or in Tartarus according to the myth. This greatly distressed Gaia, and she forged a giant stone sickle. She then implored her sons to castrate Urano. None of her children seemed to want to rise up against her father, except for the youngest Titan, Cronus. Cronus was ambitious, and accepted Gaia's offer. Gaia had him ambush Urano. In fact, Cronus did it successfully, cutting off Urano's genitals and throwing them into the sea. From the blood were born the giants, the Erinyes, or Furies, and the Melii, the nymphs of the ash tree. From the foam that was created when the genitals fell into the sea, Aphrodite was born. Kronos took the throne, married his sister, the Titan Rhea, and gave birth to the Golden Age, an age in which there was no immorality or need for laws, because everyone, gods and humans, did what was right for themselves. Urano, in a fit of rage and swearing revenge, warned Cronus and Rhea that they were destined to be overthrown by their own children. Cronus took this warning to heart, and when he and Rhea began to have children, he demanded that she give them to him. Once Rhea gave him the baby, Cronus swallowed it whole. Rhea gave birth to the gods Poseidon, Hestia, Hera, and Demeter, and Cronus swallowed them all. Rhea was devastated each time, so when she was about to give birth to her sixth child, Zeus, she went to Gaia with pleas for help. Together, Gaia and Rhea devised a plan to save Zeus from Cronus. She went to Crete to give birth, and once she did, she left the baby in a cave on Mount Ida, where the goat Amalthea was, and a company of young warriors, the Curiosities, took charge of Zeus. Rhea wrapped a stone in baby wrappers and presented it to Cronus as her son. Cronus swallowed the stone whole, like the other babies before. That stone was the Omphalos, which was at Delphi in the temple of Apollo. Zeus grew up hidden from Cronus by the Curiosities, who danced and waved their weapons, making noise to mask the crying of the baby. When Zeus was old enough to challenge Cronus, he used an herb provided by Gaia to make Cronus vomit up all of his siblings that he had swallowed. She first vomited up the stone, and then all the gods in the reverse order in which Cronus had swallowed them. Now flanked by his brothers, Zeus was ready to declare war on Cronus. He descended to Tartarus, where the Hecatoncheires and the Cyclopes were imprisoned. He freed them in exchange for their alliance against Cronus. The Hecatoncheires used their 100 hands to hurl giant boulders at Cronus, while the Cyclopes were the first to forge lightning and thunder for Zeus. Except for Themis, the goddess of justice, and Prometheus, the other Titans allied with Cronus, and the great war of the gods, the Titanomachy, began. The war lasted 10 years, and there are several secondary myths related to it. In the end, Zeus's side won. There are different versions of how Zeus, now the victorious new king of the gods, treated the Titans. One version is that he threw the Titans into Tartarus and had the Centaurs protect them. Another was that he gave them leniency. Once won, Zeus and his brothers Poseidon and Hades divided the world between them. Poseidon took the kingdoms of the sea and water, Hades took the underworld, and Zeus the sky and air. The earth was declared common to all the gods. When he first ascended the throne, Zeus took Metis, the goddess of wisdom, as his wife. Metis was another Titan, and it is said that she helped him, along with Gaia, to get her siblings back by making Cronus vomit them up. Metis was prophesied to have extremely powerful children, powerful enough to overthrow Zeus. Zeus did not want to risk suffering the fates of Uranos and Kronos, so he absorbed Metis into himself, gaining wisdom from her in the process. However, Metis was already pregnant with the child, and that child continued to grow inside Zeus's head. The more the baby grew, the more Zeus's head was ravaged by great pain. After a long period of time, Zeus couldn't take the pain anymore and asked Hephaestus, the god of fire, to split his head open with his axe. Hephaestus did so, and from within Zeus's head emerged Athena, fully clothed and armed, decked from head to toe in shining armor. There was some fear that she would turn on Zeus, but as soon as she was released from her, she flung her spear at Zeus's feet, declaring her allegiance to him. Athena became the goddess of wisdom and virtuous warfare and took her place as one of the 12 Olympian gods. Zeus's second and last wife was Hera, the goddess of marriage and childbirth. She is the sister of Zeus and the queen of the gods. Hera is known for blessing and protecting marriage and married women, but she is much more infamous for her terrible jealousy and revenge regarding Zeus's extramarital affairs. Zeus was known for his enthusiastic pursuit of women of all kinds, from nymphs and other goddesses to mortal women and even young men or boys. So, the king of the depraved would have been a good title for him as well. Through his innumerable unions, with Hera but also with many of the other ladies he pursued, he engendered the rest of the gods that completed the 12 Olympian gods: Athena, Ares, Apollo, Artemis, Hermes, and Dionysus, and in some myths, Hephaestus, were his children who joined him and his siblings Demeter, Hera, Poseidon, and Aphrodite in ruling from Olympus. Beyond Olympus, Zeus spawned several other gods, such as Persephone and the Muses, but also important demigods like Heracles, which you know by his Romanized name Hercules. By the way, I am preparing the story and the 12 labors of Heracles. If you do not want to miss it, subscribe to the channel. All the gods of Olympus call Zeus father, even if he did not father him, and he is considered the king and father of all creation, having power and authority over all other gods and elements. Although Zeus is the king of the gods, the strongest of all and the one with authority in general, his power does not bind everyone. In fact, there are some things that even Zeus can't master. The Fates fall into that category. The Fates, or Moirai, are the 3 goddesses of fate. They are daughters of Nyx, one of the primordial goddesses of the night. Their names were Clotho, Lachesis, and Atropos. Clotho means the one who weaves, and it is she who weaves the thread of life of all beings, both immortal and mortal. Lachesis means the one who distributes, and she is the one who gives everyone their measured destiny in life, where they should be. Finally, Atropos means the inevitable, and she is the one who determines the way in which everyone will die and when that death will occur. Atropos is the one with terrible scissors, with which she cuts the thread of life. The gods fear the Moirai, just like mortals, and seek to appease them every time they want to ask them for a favor. The 3 Moirai appear the night a baby is born, and begin to spin her thread, assign her place in life, and determine when and how she will die. The only one capable of deceiving Moirai to change someone's destiny was the god Apollo. Admetus was the king of Pherai, a region of Thessaly. He was a very kind king and renowned for his hospitality. When the god Apollo was exiled from Mount Olympus by Zeus for killing one of the Cyclopes in a vengeful act of rage, he was forced to serve as a mortal's servant as punishment. Apollo chose to make his servitude under Admetus and became his shepherd for 1 year. Admetus was a fair and kind master to Apollo, and by the time he ended his servitude, Apollo had developed an affectionate affection for the man. He decided to help him marry the love of his life, Princess Alcestis. That wasn't easy, because Alcestis's father, King Peleus, had decreed that she would only marry the man who could bind a boar and a lion to the same chariot. Apollo helped Admetus, and very quickly, the lion and the boar were yoked to the chariot, and Alcestis became his wife. The couple were very much in love and devoted to each other, and Apollo still considered Admetus under his protection. When Apollo finally realized that Admetus was destined to die young, he got the Moirai drunk and tricked them into changing their decree on the young king's fate. They allowed him to be saved from death if one took his place and died in his place. Although Admetus's parents were elderly, neither was willing to die in his place. It was then that Alcestis volunteered and died in her place. Admetus had his life but had lost his happiness. To his good fortune, Heracles was passing through his city, and feeling compassion for Admetus's plight, offered to fight Thanatos, the god of death, for Alcestis's life. After a fierce battle between Heracles and Thanatos, the god flew away, and Alcestis was able to return to her husband to spend a happy rest of their lives together. Before continuing with the story, if you have come this far and you liked the video, remember to give it a like. It is really important to me, and if you share it and comment on this video, I sacrifice a goat to the gods in your honor. Prometheus was a titan who loved humanity. When Zeus distributed gifts and powers to the gods, he forgot to give any to humans, and Prometheus felt it was a grave injustice. To give them the power and ability to live a better life, Prometheus sneaked into Hephaestus's workshop and took fire from the furnaces. He descended from Olympus with it in a great torch and gave it to the humans, teaching them how to use it. Once the humans had the knowledge, Zeus was unable to retrieve the gift of fire. In a fit of rage, he punished Prometheus by chaining him to a mountain. Every day an eagle swooped down and ate his liver. During the night, the liver regenerated since Prometheus was immortal, and the torture began again. This continued until Heracles found him and broke the chains, freeing him. On another occasion, when Zeus was going to decide what part of the sacrificed animal he would demand from humanity, Prometheus told humans what to do to obtain favorable treatment. He ordered them to polish the bones with butter until they became shiny and wrap them up. In the other, he put good pieces of meat on hairy skin. When Zeus looked at the two options, he was dazzled by the glowing bones and chose them. When Zeus realized his mistake, it was already too late. The king of the gods could not retract his official decree. Since then, the gods must accept and enjoy the smell of cooked meat and animal bones as offerings, while the meat is distributed to the faithful. Angry that humans now had fire, Zeus decided to take revenge. He created a mortal woman. She was the first in history, and they called her Pandora, the one with all the gifts. And she had many gifts. Each god gave her one of hers. Athena gave him wisdom, Aphrodite beauty, Hera loyalty, etc. But Hermes also gave him curiosity and cunning. Once fully created, the gods dressed her to the nines, and Zeus gave her to Epimetheus, brother of Prometheus. Although Prometheus warned Epimetheus not to accept any gifts from Zeus, Pandora's beauty and many charms disarmed him. He forgot his brother's warning and took Pandora as his wife. As a marriage gift, Zeus gave Epimetheus an ornate sealed box and warned him never to open it. Epimetheus agreed. He put the box under the bed he shared with Pandora and warned her not to open the box either. Pandora faithfully and sincerely obeyed the warning for several years, but her curiosity grew stronger every day, and the temptation to peek into the box became unbearable. One day, when her husband was away, she took the box out from under the bed and opened it. Immediately, the lid was flung open and dark smoke billowed out into the world as all evil befell humanity. War, famine, strife, pestilence, death, pain. But along with all the evils, a good thing also sprouted, like a bird that disperses all the darkness: hope. Hades was the brother of Zeus and the king of the underworld. He ruled his kingdom with his trademark quiet finality, but he was alone. One day he saw Persephone, the daughter of Demeter and Zeus, and fell in love with her. He went to Zeus and asked his permission to marry her. Zeus knew that Demeter was very protective of her daughter, so he suggested that she kidnap her. In fact, in a beautiful meadow where Persephone was picking violets, he suddenly saw the most beautiful daffodil flower. He hurried to pick it up. As soon as he did, the earth opened up, and Hades appeared in a golden chariot, taking her to the underworld. Later, Demeter searched everywhere for Persephone, but he couldn't find her. Increasingly anxious and despondent, she began to neglect her duty to make the land flourish and bear fruit and crops. The trees began to lose their leaves, and cold swept across the land, followed by snow. And still Demeter sought out Persephone and wept for her. It was the world's first autumn and winter. Finally, Helios, the sun god, told him what had happened. Furious, Demeter went to Zeus and he relented, quickly sending Hermes to the underworld to demand that Persephone return. By then, Hades and Persephone had hit it off, but when Hermes explained that nature had stopped flourishing, Hades agreed to send Persephone back. Before letting her go with Hermes, he offered her pomegranate seeds. Persephone ate 6 of them. Hades knew that if he ate the food from the underworld, he would be bound to it. When Demeter saw his daughter, she was overjoyed, and the earth blossomed again. The world's first spring had arrived. Demeter spent a long, happy time with Persephone, and the fruit of the earth ripened, the first summer. But then Persephone told him about the seeds, and how she had to go back to her husband. Demeter was furious, but Zeus made a compromise. Persephone would spend 6 months of the year in the underworld, and 6 with Demeter. Since then, when Persephone is with Demeter, there is spring and summer, and when she leaves to be with Hades, there is autumn and winter. And that's how the seasons arose. There are still many Greek stories to learn, such as the labors of Hercules. If you want a part 2 or that brings the stories of Greek mythology to the channel, let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe. I'll wait for you in the video of the next week.